Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the Reptile Barn. We have an exciting video. This is Sophie's cage. She's up there watching you. She, we believe, has just laid eggs. There's a few things we look for. So what makes you think she's laid?
So if you can see how gross her water is, it almost never is like this. The only time where she really kicks up her bedding into it is when she's digging around in her lay box. So this is one of the things we look for. This just confirms that she's been in her lay box, which means that she's within 48 to 72 hours of laying, because she generally doesn't start doing that until 2 or 3 days before she's actually going to lay eggs.
Okay. Cool.
I'm just pulling all these chips out so I can dump the water
Without clogging the drain.
without clogging the drain.
No problem.
I'll pull this out, and then I'll pull her
Nest box.
nest box out.
So Caleb does this every single day for every sailfin. The sailfins get in their water. I would say it's a requirement for their health to have big water. I mean,
and daily water changing and rinsing out of there. Oh, look, some super worms in the bedding here. If you can see those.
Oh, yep. That's good. I love having the worms mixed into their bedding. Cuts down on poop almost entirely.
The sailfins poop in their water a lot too, which is another reason why you have to change it out. But when they don't, it's nice having some live bugs in there to clean up, so you don't have to change them out quite as often.
Yep.
Okay.
I love this part.
And this is the same lay box we've used since the beginning.
Yep.
It's just
Has many sailfin eggs laid in this tote.
with a hole cut in it, and she is.
I wished it was that easy for the tree monitors. Oh, we got beetles in there too.
Yep.
They've never messed with the eggs a single time.
No.
I should say the fertile eggs.
That's true.
The dried out husk ones.
Get eaten like instantly.
That's interesting.
Let me throw these guys.
I feel like we have an easier time keeping the beetles alive, like just free roaming in the cages, than
than actually trying to breed them.
Don't you hide, you little guy.
I think our
Come here, you.
our conditions aren't necessarily ideal for the worms to breed in a tub. Just doesn't get super dark in here.
There's another couple up here.
Well, during the day at least. They want it
I don't
dark.
think they bite or anything. I always just grab them, and I've never been bit. But... There's another one. Where'd you go? Oh, there's two more. Here's one down here in this corner. And we can clip some of this out. People don't have to watch us plucking worms out of the lay box. Well, these are the beetles, I guess, but...
Oh, where did he go? There he went.
There's a lot of them in here.
Did I drop him? I did. Okay.
All right.
Good enough.
Now the fun part.
All right. She usually lays in a corner. Not always, but this is what I check first.
And it's funny because she always disrupts the bedding heavily, like pushing it to one side. Mm-hmm. But sometimes she lays in the shallow end, and sometimes she lays in the deep end. It's interesting.
Gotta switch things up.
Trick those predators.
Looks like it's not over here. And you know, I didn't get a good look at her because she's kind of pressed against a branch right now. There is a small chance she hasn't laid yet, in which case we'll have to do this again. But
Luckily, she's so freaking tame that this doesn't throw her off.
no. There have been plenty of times where we checked before she'd actually laid.
Oh,
There we go. Alrighty. Oh, good. In the corner, it's the most moist. So
I see at least 4.
There's probably going to be at least 5, I think. Even if one ends up not being fertile or having issues, she almost always has at least 5. 5 to 7. It's been pretty consistently.
Oh, is that a 5th? Yep.
And a 6th.
And a 6th. Oh, yes, Sophie.
Look good.
Man, this is just so cool. This never gets old.
There's 6, yeah. All right, so let me grab this. Let me spray down the bedding a little bit.
So we have gone to sphagnum and pulverized cocoa, pretty much, right?
Cocoa chunks too. Kind of
chunks.
a mix of all 3.
And we do extremely wet, and it
Yeah.
seems to work well.
Yeah, we have had issues with being too dry in the incubator. We have never had issues with being too wet. So we
Okay.
kind of lean towards the
On the wet
of
side.
being wet, because so far we have not had any problems for that. And it's real easy to fix that too. If you notice that the eggs in the incubator are a little overly swollen, kind of turning more into a circular, a spherical shape versus a kind of oblong, you know, how they are now.
Right.
Oval.
So one thing I've noticed, the eggs do grow. They grow a lot, but their shape shouldn't change dramatically. They should
Towards
just
the end, they do swell a little bit more in the middle than kind of lengthwise.
Mm-hmm.
But if you notice them swelling a lot in this dimension and
so it looks like a golf ball.
more like a golf ball, and when you give it a slight squeeze, there's no give at all. They're kind of taut to the touch. That means that they're just a little too much moisture in there, and they've absorbed a little too much, and you need to back off a bit. And usually, what we do to fix that is just put a thin layer of dry-ish sphagnum on top
Okay.
of the bedding in with the eggs, and pull a little bit of that excess moisture out.
And how often do you check the eggs that are in the incubator?
Well, once they start getting closer to when they're going to hatch every day, but
Okay.
at least once or twice a week during the incubation process, also, just to make sure that they're not getting too dry or too moist.
And then when you I know we've talked about this before. When have you found is the best time to breed her again now that she's laid?
About a week after she lays, I try to have her breed with our male again. She needs a few days just to kind of settle down.
Right.
But if you wait too long, she'll start building eggs again, but that are not fertile. So
And it seems like hormonally, if you hit that
Right.
sweet spot,
So
she's really.
You can tell by the way she responds to the breeding attempt of the male and how receptive she is, and that's another thing that I go by. About a week after she's laid is when she is the most receptive, which I take as a sign that that's probably about
the perfect time.
the best time for her. I'm going to candle these real quick.
I know you can't see much at this early stage, but you should be able to see.
So I don't know how well it shows up, but there's a embryo at the top there.
Hold on, where am I even pointing this camera?
Oh yeah, you can see
Oh,
it.
you can see it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put them in here. Put the embryo up.
And we have started snugging them down a little deeper into the
Yeah.
substrate so they don't dry out, right?
Yes.
Also, we seem to have found that
There's the embryo right there.
if they are going to dry out, they dry out on the bottom first.
They do.
That got us a couple of times.
You gotta actually pick the eggs up when you check on them, because they might look fine from the top, and then you flip them over and it's
Concave.
concave on the bottom.
Yeah, we've lost a few eggs that way, I remember.
There's an embryo.
Awesome.
So it looks like they're
Perfect.
all gonna be fertile.
We almost never get every single egg to hatch. Usually we lose at least one, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's any particular problem with incubation. It almost just seems like there's almost always one egg that is a little weaker or something.
Occasionally we will have one dud, one unfertilized egg or something.
But I mean, her and Salvador should be right in their prime.
Yeah.
No, she's pushing 8 years old, right?
Yeah.
And he's almost what, 4? So they're just perfect right now for breeding. And how do you know when it's time to kind of cycle her down and give her an off period during the year?
Well, the first time I tried to, she just kept laying eggs.
Right. Whether
they were just duds because she wasn't being bred. So I kind of waited for her to start having a longer period of time between her cycles.
Okay.
She kind of has a natural break of a few months once a year. And so at that point, I will give her a break. There's not any reason for her to be breeding and getting stressed out when she's not going to be building eggs anyway, so.
It's like 6, is it?
But she'll lay eggs every 5 or 6 weeks for the majority of the year, about 9 months out of the year. So
that is absolutely incredible. I truly believe without the absolutely perfect temperature, humidity, UV bulbs, and especially the superb diet, I don't think that would be possible.
Yeah, I don't know. This is our first breeding pair, so
right.
I don't know how that compares to what other breeders have gotten, but she's been really good for us.
Yeah, she is, as they say, an animal. Awesome. We will get these set up, and probably within 3 days we're gonna have hatchlings.
Yep. So we'll have another video of babies.
Yep. Awesome. And we people have been asking about the holdback because we told them in that one video.
Right, yeah.
And then you were sick, so we didn't want to film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but we'll get to that. There's good content coming up. All right, guys.
Good.
Well, we are excited. We'll get her bulked back up, get her bred, and she'll start building eggs again. And we will keep you updated on the eggs, of course, and all the hatchlings we get. And thank you so much for watching. Till next time, we're the Reptile Barn.